Oh, we are live. Hi, everyone. And please excuse the construction zone behind me, but we're just doing a little bit of work on the office. But yeah, hi, everyone. Thank you for clicking onto this live. I do realize I'm doing this in the middle of the day, and a lot of you will catch this on the replay, but it's all good. So if you're new here, welcome. If you're already a subscriber, welcome back. Meta/Facebook was in the news today, so I wanted to jump on a live stream real quick and give you all a rundown on exactly what happened. If you are joining live, please feel free to drop questions in the chat. And if you're on the replay, just drop questions in the comments, and I will do my best to get to those as the story kind of develops. So the big news today, if you missed it, was that Republican Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton filed a lawsuit against Facebook's parent company, Meta Platforms, Inc., on behalf of the state of Texas, saying that Facebook collected Texans' biometric data without the full consent of their users for years and years and years, and therefore violated state privacy laws. So don't worry, we're going to break it down. Paxton filed the lawsuit in Marshall, which is a small town about a little bit of an accent there, which is a small town about 150 miles east of Dallas. And I did read the entire document, and it was quite long, so I have the Cliff Notes version for you. So essentially, the lawsuit accuses Facebook of collecting biometric identifiers from its users' photos and videos without clearly informing them. The biometrics it's referring to are the tag suggestion feature on the Facebook app, which you may remember if you ever uploaded a photo or video, it would give you a suggestion of who to tag in that photo. And it was pretty good, like it was pretty accurate. And the reason that feature worked so well is because Facebook had been collecting facial recognition data from all of the media we had been uploading over the years. So the lawsuit goes on to allege that the company then shared the biometric data with third parties. And by shared, I mean they exchanged it for money, they sold it, and did not delete the information in a timely manner. And that is actually also a violation of Texas state law. And I'll get into that in a bit. Don't worry, we'll go over that later. So these actions span from late 2010 to late 2021. And the reason it ended in 2021 is because in November of last year, Meta/Facebook announced that it would shut down Facebook's facial recognition system and delete all of the data that it collected on more than 1 billion people. So this is, great. Sounds like a step in the right direction as far as data privacy goes, but it also does imply that they do in fact have all of the facial recognition data that this lawsuit is talking about stored. So that's not so great. The lawsuit did not put a single number value on how much they are suing Meta for, but we do have some clues. The new lawsuit says that there are, Oh yes, I will get to that in a bit. Don't worry, we're going to cover terms of service. So the new lawsuit says that 20 million Texans have a Facebook account, and they can sue for up to $25,000 per violation. So if they consider one user one violation, that would be 20.5 times 25,000, about $512.5 billion, which is just a massive sum of money. And I think the reason that, not just me, many others too, think the reason that Paxton and his team have gone this route is because Meta, then Facebook, did actually pay a $650 million settlement in a similar lawsuit in Illinois last year over the use of the same photo face tagging feature and the use of other biometric data. So the potential Texas settlement, or the potential Texas case, is actually pretty close to what we saw it happen in the state of Illinois, give or take $100 billion. And at a news conference on Monday, Paxton also said that the state will ask the court for damages to the magnitude of billions of dollars. So it all tracks pretty closely to what we saw happen over in Illinois. So what are the laws that I keep mentioning. And the lawsuit actually centers around the alleged violation of two acts: the Capture or Use of Biometric Identifiers Act, or CUBI, QB, and the Deceptive Trade Practices and Consumer Protection Act, or DTPA. They are both mouthfuls, of course. So the DTPA bans false, misleading, or deceptive acts or practices in business, and CUBI makes it illegal for companies to capture, disclose, or profit from a person's biometric identifiers without their informed consent. Again, we keep hearing informed consent comes up. It's a popular term for this story. So CUBI also mandates that any stored biometric identifiers are destroyed within a reasonable amount of time. And the legal definition in this case for a reasonable amount of time seems kind of wishy-washy. I'll quote it directly, but it's not later than the first anniversary of the date the purpose for collecting the identifier expires. So you could maybe interpret that a few ways or kind of make that date whatever you need it to be. So violating that first one, DTPA, the Texas lawsuit says that Facebook created the illusion of a safe environment in which people could upload photos of themselves and their families, and that the facial recognition was just a helpful way to tag loved ones. And what they were really doing was actually using the photos and related data to build a facial recognition database and profit from it by sharing that data set and technology with third parties. And then on top of that, they failed to delete the data when they were done, which creates a security and safety risk for users. And keep in mind, when I say users, this lawsuit is just about people who are residents of Texas that also use Facebook. It does not apply, the lawsuit does not cover all Americans, but the state still can sue for $10,000 for each DTPA violation. And then, like I said before, CUBI violations are $25,000 each. Before I get into like what this means kind of for everyday people, I wanted to give a little bit of background on Paxton just for context and where he's coming from and what he is all about. So Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is a Tea Party favorite. And I know a lot of people who watch this channel are not from Texas or even Americans, so I'll break that down a bit the best I can. I'm not an American or a Texan either, even though I live here. So the Tea Party is a fiscally conservative movement within the Republican Party. And Paxton is currently running for his party's nomination for re-election. And he has launched legal actions against several big tech companies in the past, including Apple and Google, all alleging around privacy and antitrust violations. So that's kind of his thing. And then last week, Paxton's office also launched an investigation into GoFundMe, the donation platform, after they refused to disperse funds to the organizers of the self-styled Freedom Convoy protesters in Canada. I'm sure you've heard about that on the news. And Paxton's reputation also took a little bit of a hit. He was in the news again in 2020 when he was accused of bribery and abuse of power by 7 top aides, I believe the article said. However, Paxton's office, via an internal report, concluded that Paxton had not committed any crimes in that case. So what was Meta's response to all of this? Have they weighed in? Not really. So Meta hasn't really said much because it's very early. A spokesperson for the company did tell the Washington Post that the Texas claims are without merit and we will defend ourselves vigorously. I don't think anyone expected them to admit any fault. So, not much out of Meta at this time. Back in November, Facebook defended the photo tagging feature and argued that users have the option of opting out since 2017. As one of you mentioned before, the terms of service, you've agreed to use the feature. Even though this happened in 2017, the feature had been around for longer than that. I think 2014, maybe earlier. You'll have to let me know in those comments. And according to self-report statements from Meta, so you have to take this for what it's worth, they said over a third of its daily active users opted in. And this number actually sounds low to me. So let me know what you think about that in the comments. I'd really like to know your opinion because I swear it seems like everyone I knew used that feature. So now that that's covered, what does this mean for Americans. The lawsuit would be a massive financial award for Texas if it was successful, but that money does not actually go to any individual Texans. It's not like you get a payout, it goes to the state. So no individuals are about to get a slice of settlement money. And if they were, I would tell you, because like I said, I live in Texas and I have lived here for about half the time that the facial recognition feature was live. So ideally, this money would go towards enacting data privacy laws and set precedents for other states. But other than voting in elections, we really have no direct control over what happens with those funds. So we can hope for the best and do our civic duty, but that's really it. And with that, that is all I had for today's live. I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to doing more of these. Please do all of that good stuff, the share, subscribe, like, it all helps. We're over here building the metaverse, and we want people to go into this next stage of the internet fully informed and asking lots of questions. So it really helps to get the word out there. So yeah, stay safe out there, guys, and I will see you next time if we don't have any questions. No? Bye.